So basically we have two types of analysis. Okay, one is called force method analysis, and another type is displacement method analysis. Okay. Okay. So in the force method analysis, both the methods are very similar. Okay, if you see the today we'll see the procedure. Okay, and we'll see the procedure. The both the method is very much similar. So there are some similarities. Also there are some differences. Okay, but basic philosophy, the procedure. Okay, to solve the problem, or both methods are almost similar. Okay, and in force method analysis, your basic unknowns will be primary unknowns are redundant forces. Okay, primary unknowns will be redundant forces, and so so basically it is a for indeterminate structures. Okay, so there will be more number of unknowns than your available equilibrium equation. The extra unknown will be calling static indeterminacy of your structure. Okay, that extra unknowns we have to solve, and so that to solve those extra unknowns we have to form the extra equations. Okay, extra equation, already we have three equilibrium equation, but we have to form some extra equations, and that extra equation will be forming from compatibility condition. Okay, so in this force method we will be solving compatibility equations to get the extra unknown forces in the structure. That is why this method is also known as compatibility method, because we are using the compatibility equations. Equilibrium equations alone are not sufficient. We have to use the compatibility equation to solve the redundant forces in the structure. That is why the force method also known as compatibility method. And it is also known as flexibility method or method of consistent deformations. Okay. The procedure we'll see today again. I think I have discussed the last class. Today I will discuss again that part. Okay, so that you can compare how the displacement method is similar to the force method, or how it is different from the force method, so you can understand. And these are the different types of force method. All these are, you can say, examples of force method. Unit load method, consistent deformation method you must have studied, and three moment theorem or Clapeyron theorem, and energy theorem, Castigliano's theorem, or Mohs theorem. All will be coming uh, under the category of force method analysis. Okay. And when you come to the displacement method, the difference is here the primary unknowns are joint displacement. Okay, and first we primary unknown means first we will solve the joint displacement, and then we can solve the forces. Okay, and in force method first we will solve the forces, then we will solve the displacement, because force and displacement both are related. There are some equations, both are related. So that here the difference or similarity you can say here, first primary unknowns will be joint displacement, and once you solve the joint displacement we can get the unknown forces also. Okay, that will be secondary unknowns. And here we will use equilibrium equation, whereas in the force method we use equilibrium equation alone was not sufficient. We use compatibility equations to solve the extra unknowns, and here to solve the unknown displacement components we will be using equilibrium equations. So that is why this method is also known as equilibrium method also. Okay, so you can compare that. Force method is known as compatibility method. Similarly, the displacement method is also known as equilibrium method, because we are solving the equilibrium equation that we will see in your slope deflection method. Okay, and displacement method is it is suitable for most of the computer programmings, and hence this method is being widely used for modern the structural analysis. Meaning is, so first displacement method we will be studying, which will be slope deflection method. Okay, so that slope deflection method we can develop in the form of matrix. We can write all the equation in the form of matrix, and that was the basis for a very famous method is there, that is a basis for a method which is known as stiffness method. Okay, and the stiffness method, that is a matrix method analysis you will be studying in your module 4. Okay, the meaning is finally we can, it is the basis of your uh, matrix method analysis. Okay, that matrix method analysis is the really the basic part of all the programming. Okay, all the computer programming, everything is based on the finite element method, and for the finite element method matrix method is the basis. Okay, finally the displacement method is, we can it is suitable for all the computer programming and all, because if you see any real structure there will be lot of indeterminacy, there will be lot of both static as well as kinematic indeterminacy. That means there will be lot of unknown forces or unknowns, there will be lot of unknowns in the the structure. Okay, so we have to solve a lot of unknowns. So how many unknown doesn't matter. Suppose we have three unknowns. To solve the three unknowns, we should have three equation. Okay, suppose we have 10 unknowns and 10 equation, your problem will become much complicated. Okay, that is why we have to go for some computer method analysis. Then only we can solve the. Then only we can analyze the real structures. Okay, simple problem, simple beam, simple frames, you can solve by using your manual methods, whatever you are learning throughout the course of essay 1 and essay 2. But when you get the real structures, you can solve by using a manual method approximately, but that will also take a lot of time. Okay, that will take a lot of time, so we cannot go for manual calculations. Okay. So in displacement method, primary unknowns are joint displacement, which are commonly known as degree of freedom. So we have already discussed how to find out the degree of freedom for different types of structures. Okay. So it is also known as equilibrium. Yes.
What is called the secondary unknowns? What are the secondary unknowns?
Yeah. See, the structural analysis means we have to solve what are the things. We have to solve all the forces in the structures. We have to solve bending moment, shear force, axial force, everything, and we also have to solve all the displacement components. Where what is the slope, what is the deflection, what is the maximum deflection, everything we have to solve. Then only your the structural analysis is complete. Okay, analysis means we have to get the forces as well as displacement. Okay, and in force method what we will do is we will solve only forces, and once we have the force, to solve the displacement is not a big thing, because there is force displacement relation is already there, so we can solve the displacement from the forces. Okay, that is why in force method we will say primary unknowns are forces, we will be solving only forces, and from force we can get the displacement. But when you come to the displacement method, your primary unknowns will be joint displacement, or primary unknowns will be displacement. We will solve for displacement first, and once you have displacement, you can use the force displacement relation to get the bending moment, all the forces, shear force, etc. in the structure. Okay, that we will do in your slope depression method. Okay, that is the meaning of primary unknowns. First we will solve forces in force method, that is why we are discussing static indeterminacy in force method. But in displacement method, first we will solve the displacement, that is why we will be discussing indeterminacy will be the kinematic indeterminacy. How many kinematic indeterminacy? That is your number of unknowns. How many force unknowns are there doesn't matter. We will solve the only the displacement unknown first. Once we get all the unknown displacement, we can get the all the forces in the structure. So that will work out. Okay, that will solve in your numerical example. Okay. So if you write in a tabular form, these are the some of the different methods coming under force method. These are some of the displacement method. You can see slope deflection method, and another method is moment distribution method, and another method is Canis method, and another method is stiffness matrix method. Or you can say also known as these are you will be studying as different methods, but actually this moment is in your module you will be studying only two methods. Earlier Canis method was there, and recently that method has been removed from your syllabus. So we will be studying only slope deflection and moment distribution method. But if you see all the three methods, okay, slope deflection method, moment distribution method, and Canis method, or you can say moment distribution Canis method, this is just derived from the slope deflection method only. Only solution technique is different. Okay, solution technique is only different, but these all methods are same as slope deflection method only. How to solve, your approach will be different. Here we will be solving some equation in slope deflection method, but moment distribution method, it is an iteration, kind of iteration we will be doing. That we will see in while discussing that. But all these methods are derived from the slope deflection method. This is the basis for all the displacement method of analysis. Slope deflection method, that is the basis. And similarly, these are the some of the force methods. At least you should know the names. So I have seen many exams. This like some not for GATE, some PSC exam or some PSU exam you will get, they will give some different methods, name they will give slope deflection method or Canis method, column analogy method, or they will ask which is the force method or which is the displacement method. So that is why you should know this. And many times I have seen this column analogy method. The question will be which is the force method analysis from the given option. Okay, they will give slope deflection method, moment distribution method, stiffness method, and column analogy method. So that is why you should, even though you are not studying this column analogy method, Canis method, but you should know that this is a force method and it is a displacement method. And in force method, as I discussed, the type of indeterminacy we are discussing will be static indeterminacy, which is the unknown forces. And here it will be kinematic indeterminacy, that is a unknown displacement. Here governing equation will be compatibility equation, because the equilibrium equations are not sufficient to solve extra unknowns. We will go for extra equation, that is the compatibility equation. And similarly here the compatibility equation you can say not sufficient to solve the only unknown displacement. We have to go for equilibrium equations. Okay, just opposite, we can just compare and we can these are the okay, this is force displacement relation. Also we can write in the form matrix, and that will be calling flexibility matrix if it is a force method. And here the corresponding matrix will be the stiffness matrix. Flexibility matrix and stiffness matrix method you will be studying in the last module. Okay, so I think that is um, the last part. The some part was pending in the last class, so we will continue from there. Okay, so today we will see so now you, I think you got basic idea of force method and displacement method, and now we will see little more in detail how this what is the procedure, how to solve the problem by using displacement method. Okay, and procedure we will compare with force method so that you can get the complete concept, okay, how it is coming. Once you get that idea, then we will go for the derivation of slope deflection method. Okay, so that entire derivation part you can easily understand if you get the basic procedure. Okay, how this method is how this procedure is coming. Okay, that part I will spend some time. So today we'll basically we'll see, actually we are into the subject now. Okay, the first we'll see the and concept of displacement method. So till now more or less we are discussing only basics. Okay, and so today we'll see force method and displacement method, and then we will see the our main topic. Okay, the concept of slope depression method. So I think we'll complete the derivation at least today. If possible, we'll go for one numerical. I don't know, depends on time. Okay. So first I will this I think I have discussed last class. To save some time, I have already written. Okay, I have already written what I want to discuss. The steps in force method you have studied the consistent deformation method. So that you can take it as the typical procedure in a force method. How to solve a how to analyze a structure by using force method. Okay, basically for what type of structure we are focusing, that is indeterminate structures. Okay, statically indeterminate structure. So I have taken we have a propped cantilever beam. Okay, so we have fixed support at this point and we have a roller support at B. Okay, and we have some loading UDL, that is W per meter. Okay. So we are going to analyze this statically indeterminate structure by using force method. The first step, okay, the first most step in the force method is to identify the find out the static indeterminacy of your structure. Okay, the first step will be identify the redundant forces in the structure. The redundant force means extra reactions we have, extra unknown forces we have in the structure. To find out that, first step is we have to find out the static indeterminacy. And here if you see this structure, we have purely vertical load. That means there will be some vertical reaction at this fixed support, and also there will be some moment also. There won't be any horizontal reaction at this support. So at this support we have only two unknown forces. So one is the vertical force and another one is the fixing moment. And at this roller support we have vertical reaction, because the loading is given, so we can eliminate this horizontal force which is already, which will be 0. So that 0 means that is a non value, that is not an unknown value. Okay, so we have total 2 plus 1 3 unknowns, and we have how many equilibrium equation here we have. The equilibrium equation will be sigma Fy equal to 0. The summation of all the vertical force must be equal to 0, and second equation will be sigma m is equal to 0. Okay, moment about a point is 0. Okay, and sigma fx will equal to 0. That equation will not be there. Okay, because there is no horizontal forces in the structure, so that equation will become 0 equal to 0. So finally that is not an equation. So we have 3 unknowns and 2 equations of equilibrium, and your static indeterminacy will be 3 minus 2 1. Even though you are doing 4 minus 3, you will get indeterminacy will be 1. So indeterminacy 1 means this structure there is one the redundant forces in the structure. So you can take this moment or this reaction or this reaction, you can take anything as the redundant forces to solve the to solve the problem. So I have taken RB as the redundant forces. So I have taken the RB as the redundant forces, and that is your the first step. Identify the redundant force and take any one force as the redundant. Okay. And the second step is get the primary. This procedure you should remember. Okay, this procedure you should remember. Probably you will be knowing this procedure already because you have done consistent deformation method already in your SA1. Okay, and second step is get the primary structure by removing the redundants. So I have taken RB as the redundant force in the beam, and the next step is get the primary structure by removing the redundants. So what is the meaning of primary structure? The primary structure means basic determinate structure. Okay, you have to get a determinate structure. So we will make this indeterminate structure determinate. So here we have one extra force. If you remove any one force, this beam will become determinate. So get primary structure by removing the redundant. So I have taken RB as the redundants in this case. So I have removed RB. So I will get a cantilever beam with UDL. So I got the basic determinate structure by removing the redundant force in the structure. Okay. And third step is analyze the primary structure. And this is my primary structure, basic determinate beam determinate structure. Analyze the primary structure subjected to external load. Okay, if you see the question or if you see the given condition, this is the external load UDL, and analyze the primary structure subjected to external load. Okay, you are going to analyze, and analyze in this step what is your outcome. Your outcome will be you will be able to find out the deflection at this free end. Okay, and for UDL with cantilever, you know, next deflection at the free end is going to be WL raised to 4 by 88. That is your third step. Analyze the primary structure subjected to external load. So outcome of this analysis is you are getting the displacement. Okay, so that is the third step, and now we can go to the fourth step. Okay, and analyze again. The fourth step is analyze the primary structure subjected to only the redundant force. So now I am applying this the redundant force as an external load. I already know that there will be a reaction RB, that is my redundant force. Okay, so the fourth step is to analyze the primary structure subjected to the redundant force and applying only redundant force. Okay, there is no external load at this stage. So I am applying this the force point load RB, and again analysis outcome is going to be a deflection at this point. So if you have a point load at the free end of the cantilever, you have the equation WLQ by 3EI. Okay, so RB LQ by 3EI. So now the next step is we are going to use because now we are using the force method to solve the to analyze your beam. Okay, first step is you have to get all the reaction, all the forces in the structure. So equilibrium equation not sufficient, we are using the compatibility equation. So that we discussed just before theory. Okay. So now that is the next step. So we are going to use the compatibility equation. We are going to use the compatibility equation to solve RB. So what is the compatibility equation? From here you know this is a delta 1 downward deflection, and this is the delta 2 upward deflection. And if you see the structure, so any kind of displacement is not possible at this point B. There is no movement in this direction at this point B, because there is a support is there, deflection should be 0. Total deflection must be 0. That means the delta 1 in the downward direction and delta 2 in the upward direction both must be equal in magnitude. Okay, so you can relate the displacement value delta 1 is equal to delta 2. We are relating some displacement, and that type of equation we are calling the compatibility equation, basically the equation relating the displacement. So you can write the relation between delta 1 and delta 2, both should be equal in magnitude. And if you see this equation, we have, you know, the span of the beam, you know the loading in the beam, and you know the properties of your beam, E value and I value, and we have one equation and we have only one unknown, which is RB. So I can solve for RB, and once you solve it you will get RB equal to 3 by 8 of WL. Okay, so that is the fifth step. And the next step is, so now I got this the redundant force value I have solved by using compatibility equation. And the next step is use equilibrium condition to solve the remaining unknown forces. This is not the only unknown force. To solve the remaining unknown forces, especially at the support A, we have some moments and some reactions. To solve those extra unknowns or remaining unknowns, use the equilibrium condition or use the equilibrium equation. So we will take the beam, we have the UDL, and now I know this value 3 by 8 WL, and this HA value already 0, you must be knowing because there is no horizontal load. So now I can use the two equations, sigma Fy equal to 0, summation of all the force along y direction 0. If you equate, you will be getting the value of Va. And also you can write another equation of equilibrium, sigma m is equal to 0, and I can use these two equilibrium equations to solve the value of Va and value of Ma. I have two equilibrium equations and I have two unknowns in the structure. So I can find out all the all the unknown forces in the structure. Now in the sixth step I got all the unknown forces in the structure. So that is actually, you can say that your force method analysis you have completed. And so now we have the force, and if you want, okay, if you want, you can go for the seventh step. You can use the force displacement relation to obtain the to solve for displacement or deflection at any point in the beam. So now we can apply double integration method. You know all the reactive forces, all the moment. You can apply moment area method. You can go for any method which you have studied for determinate structure. Okay, the determinate structure, you should know all the unknown forces. So now I know all the forces, we can go for double integration method. Simple, you can go for double integration method if you want to solve for deflection or slope at any point in the beam. Okay, finally if you, this is your real beam, there will be some deflection. If you apply some load, it will bend like this, there will be a bending or like this. There will be some rotation at this point B, there will be some deflection at this there will be some deflection throughout the beam. So you can solve the deflection and slope at any point if you want, once you have the all the force values. So you can use the force displacement relation to obtain the displacement. So that is the procedure for that is the procedure we used to follow in force method analysis. Okay, so this you have to keep in mind so that you can can you can go for displacement method. So if you go for displacement method, so I will take a beam. Okay, I will take a beam. So now we'll see how we are solving the problem in the displacement method. Okay, so we have a, just a continuous beam. So I think you also should write along with me. Okay, so you may be understanding, but later on once you revising the slide, I think you may be missing some points if you are not writing anything. Okay. So better you also write along with me. Anyway, today I don't have any slide. I will be also writing in the class. Okay. So we have a continuous beam. Let us say so we have a continuous beam like this: A, B, C, D. Okay. And we have some loading. We have some loading in the beam. So we have some loading, and there is some loading. Okay, some arbitrary loading I have applied. So once there is loading, the beam has to bend. There will be some deformation in the structure. It has to deform. Okay, so I am just giving an arbitrary deformed shape of your beam. So it will bend maybe something like this. So here the deflection and slope will be 0, and once you come to continuous support B, continuous end, so it may go like this. I am just doing it is not because anyway load also we don't know, it is an arbitrary shape. Okay, this is the deformed shape. I will write arbitrary deformed shape. Okay, so we have a continuous beam, four span continuous beam. Okay, and we applied some loading, and there is some deformation in the structure. Okay, and if you see what are the degree of freedom we can see in this beam. So there will be a rotation at support B because this is a roller support. It is free to rotate. There will be some rotation, and there will be some if you see the span AB, this is a rotation, okay, theta. So I will be writing it is theta BA. Can do this one? I am just writing this notation, theta BC, okay. And if you see the support again, it is a roller support. We are going to have some, this is your the deflection theta CD. It is in a span CD and at support C, so theta CD. This the slope at support C in the span of CB. So this is, I am using the notation theta CB, okay, theta CB. And also we can see here also will be having same anti-clockwise. This is theta DE, okay, and this is theta DC, okay. And similarly we are going to have here also, here also we have some theta ED, okay, theta ED. So these are the degree of freedom in this beam, okay. There is at this support there is no movement is possible, and members are axially like there is no axial deformation in the beam. I have taken that condition. Generally we used to take that condition for a beam because there is no axial force. Axial deformation we can neglect always. So here, so your how many degree of freedom will be there in this structure? What is the degree of freedom for this beam?
4.
Yeah, one rotation here, 2, 3 and 4. The degree of freedom or kinematic indeterminacy will be 4 actually, okay. And here in this case or in this structure, actually our compatibility equation. So what will be the continuous support means your theta BA, okay, theta BA, you can say theta BA and theta BC will be equal. So I can write theta BA and theta BC equal to theta C. The beam will bend like this only, okay. See, here we have some anti-clockwise this much magnitude, and here also same anti-clockwise same magnitude, okay. This tangent will be common, and you can similarly you can write theta CD. So you should write along with me, that will be better. Theta CB equal to theta CD. It is at the support C. I can write theta C, and similarly theta DC will be equal in magnitude theta DE. So it is equal to theta D, and theta ED means there is only one member at meeting at joint E. So theta ED, okay, theta ED, so that is equal to theta E, okay. So these are the compatibility equations in this case. These are the compatibility condition also, you can say compatibility conditions or equations, okay. So means the displacement in the, you can say, and the relation between displacement. So this rotation at point B in span BA and BC will be equal. That is these are the compatibility conditions we have in this structure, okay, or these are the compatibility equation, both the ways we can say, okay. And so one more thing, the displacement method of analysis, another advantage, if you know this, or you can say to predict the deformed shape of your beam, you should know the degree of freedom. You should know the slope value. In this case you should know the degree of freedom of all the degree of freedom, okay, of your structure. Then only you can predict how your beam is going to deform, okay. To predict that one, you have to know the displacement components in the structure. So if you analyzing by using force method, and if you get all the force components, you will be able to find out the bending moment, shear force, design force in the members, but you will not be able to predict, okay, the deformed shape of the structure. You can draw the deformed shape only analyze your the structure by using the displacement method. Then only you can predict the deformed shape, okay. And the display, now we'll go to how to solve a method, how to analyze a structure by using displacement method. The displacement method and force method, okay. If you see the concept or philosophy or the steps we are following, it will be similar, almost similar, okay. So we'll try to understand, we'll compare, okay, we'll compare two method, force and displacement method, and then we'll try to understand what are the similarities or what are the differences between these two methods. So force method, the procedure you should remember, and the probe cantilever problem I explained. So that step you should remember. So we are going to have similar step. We are going to have the similar step in force method, displacement method also. Okay, I am going to take the same beam. So I am going to take the same beam. This one A, B, C, D, E. Okay. So I'm going to. So I will take the same beam to explain the displacement method. What is the procedure? So here, okay, I will draw once again. This is your is a continuous beam. So this you should understand. Today's class is very important. Okay, today we'll discuss everything about slope deflection method. After this, we'll go to slope deflection method. So later on, we'll see the problem. And okay, so today you have to get the complete concept. So this is not it is not slope deflection method, but this is the concept of displacement method. Okay. So we have we have some loading also in this structure. Taken some beam and we have some loading. So we have some loading like this, arbitrary loading I am keeping. Okay, so we have some loading. So this is the same load. Okay, we have some same loading. So A, B, C, D. Okay. This is your continuous beam. Okay, so I will tell what you will do in force method, then I will tell what you will do in displacement method, so that you can understand the difference and so that you can compare. Suppose this is the your question. You are using the displacement force method analysis. First, you will be finding out the the static indeterminacy of your beam. So what is the static indeterminacy? So three unknowns here: 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 7 minus you can say 7 minus 3, or otherwise you can use the other method also. So the static indeterminacy will be 4. Okay, the static indeterminacy of your beam will be 4. So what is the next step? You will be you got the redundant force, 4 number of force I have extra. That means this reaction, this reaction, this reaction, and this reaction, all these 4 are extra. So what will be the second step? You have to get the basic, you have to get the primary structure. So by removing the redundant force. So once you remove it, what you will get? You will get the cantilever beam. Like this cantilever, I have removed all the reactions. I am not drawing that part. You have to. I think you will be able to understand. Okay. So first step is, if you are solving by force method, first step is find out the static indeterminacy of your structure for indeterminacy. This many redundant force I have. Identify the redundant force, that is RB, RC, RD and RE. Okay. And the second step is get the primary structure by removing all the extra reactions. So once you remove the all the extra reaction, what you will get? You will get a cantilever beam. This is your primary structure. After removing for the redundant forces, you will be having same loading, and this is your primary structure. So what is the next step? You will be analyzing this primary structure, and to get the to will analyze the primary structure subjected to external load. That is your third step. Okay. So, but if it is a displacement method, what is your first step? First step is you have to identify, you have to find out what is the kinematic indeterminacy of your structure, or what is the degree of freedom of this structure. That is, how many degree of freedom will be having? 3, 4 degree of freedom. The same structure. The first step is, we can say, the first step in force method is find out the static, identify the redundant forces, and in kinematic in force displacement method, the first step is identify the redundant displacement or degree of freedom. Okay, first step is done. Okay, and in second step, what we have done in force method, we have removed all the extra forces to get the primary structure. Okay, what was the primary structure? That is basic determinate structure. So simple cantilever beam. Here also we have to do the same step. so here also we have to do the same step. What are the first step is kinematic indeterminacy we found out, and second step is identify identify and here identify the redundant forces, and here identify the redundant displacement. That is the second step. Okay, so what is the unknowns? We have theta b, theta c, theta d, and theta a. Second step is, we can say similar. Here we are identifying the extra forces, and here we are identifying the unknown displacement. Okay, and third step in displacement method, what you have to do in third step, and here we removed all the redundant forces to get the primary structure. Primary structure means determinate, in this case statically determinate structure. Okay, and here we have to do the similar step, so get primary structure. Okay, get primary structure, and in this case post method primary structure means statically determinate. So what should be the primary structure in this case? Anybody can tell me what should be the primary structure in displacement method? What should be the primary structure?
Only the cantilever, ma'am.
No. Give me the term. Here primary structure is statically determinate, so only three unknown, there won't be any extra unknown. And here what will be the primary structure?
Only the cantilever beam.
No, here
Reflected.
okay, I will tell. So
Which point
here primary structure is statically determinate, and here your primary structure will be kinematically determinate. Okay, kinematically determinate. So I will explain this. So here cantilever beam, that is a statically determinate. So this cantilever beam is not kinematically determinate. It is, there is some degree of freedom there. At the free end there will be three unknown displacement. That is kinematically indeterminate. So here it won't become cantilever method. If we are becoming cantilever method primary structure, that means we are doing the force method. Okay, so here primary structure will be kinematically determinate. So you see the steps very carefully. Okay, and how to get the kinematically determinate? So what is the meaning of kinematically determinate? I think I have explained already that. How to make this structure kinematically determinate? So that means the static determinate structure means this, there should not be the unknown reaction, should not be there in the structure. That is why we are removing. Here what we have to remove to get the kinematically determinate structure? What we have to remove? Here we removed all the forces. Here what I have to remove? You think little bit. What I have to remove to get a kinematically determinate structure? What do you mean by?
To remove
Yeah.
by removing rotation
Yeah,
of the
yeah, exactly. So kinematically determinate mean there should not be any joint displacement. There should not be any joint displacement. Unknown should not be there. So we have to get the kinematically determinate structure. We have to remove theta b, we have to remove theta c, we have to remove theta d, and we have to remove theta e. Then tell me how to remove this, or how I will represent. Means to remove this, to make all the rotation 0, what type of support condition I have to provide in this primary structure?
sir, hinge support.
It is a hinge support, means it is free to rotate, there will be rotation. The hinge support means it is free to rotate, right? There will be rotation.
Fix that.
Yeah, so we have, yeah, exactly, yes. So to get the primary structure, what is primary structure? We have to understand that is kinematically determinate. So that means I have to make all the unknown displacement mean rotation here. Okay, that should be 0. To make that 0, I will draw like this. I will just draw like this. I will make this fixed. I am making it fixed. This is also fixed. So this is the structure kinematically determinate. It is my primary structure in the displacement method. That is the third step in force method. And what was the fourth step in the force method? What was the okay, here the number is different, and so this much we have done. So what is the next step in force method? Analyze the primary structure subjected to external load. Okay, analyze this primary structure subjected to external load. So here what should be the next step in the displacement method? We are going to analyze the primary structure. We are going to analyze the primary structure subjected to external load. Correct? If there is any confusion, we can ask. I think I am recording this video. You can refer that. So here the next step in the force method was analyze your primary structure subjected to external loading. Similarly, in the displacement method, your next step is analyze. I am writing like this: primary, analyze primary structure. Okay, analyze primary structure subjected to external loads. Okay, apply all the external load which is given in the structure. So analyze this primary structure. That is your the next step. So now, so in force method you go back this to analyze the primary structure. What was your outcome in the analysis? We are going to get the displacement. We are going to get the displacement in the structure. So but here what will be your outcome? So already I have made all the displacement component 0. So analyze the primary structure means we are going to get the forces in the structure. Again if you see this structure, all the supports are fixed, right? All the supports are fixed. So that means, so again there is a point. I will draw it here. So this is your primary structure subject to external load. So I am going to analyze this. Okay, so I think I have to draw it again. So here we have okay. So here you have to again notice the my support condition, all supports are fixed. So that means if you take this span AB, okay, A B C D E. So here we are going to analyze this primary structure and subjected to external load. So your outcome of analysis will be forces. Okay, what is the moment developed or what is the forces coming at this support? Okay, that is your outcome we are going to get from this analysis. But the speciality here is if you take this span AB, we have some loading. So this loading will not have any effect on other span. So why? Because these ends are already fixed. Whatever the load applied over this span, it will not have any effect in other span. Similarly, the load applied in span BC will not have any effect on AB, CD or DE. Similarly, all this span AB, BC, CD and DE will be, you can treat it is like individually, because these supports are fixed. But if we have like this, suppose we have a suppose in some question you got roller support or hinge support, but if we have some loading, it will have some effect in other span. That is why this span also bending. You can see that there is some deflection, but this thing will not happen if you make this joint as fixed. So this kind of any no load will be transferring from this span to this span. Completely the load will transfer to this support only. So that means to analyze this primary structure, I can take this span A, B, B, C, C, D, everything I can take one by one. I can take it separate. Okay, so I can take A, B span, this fixed beam. I can take it a simple fixed beam one by one, because each loading has no effect on other span. So we can take it this individual and apply the same loading in the span AB, and here we have same loading, and here also we have same loading. Okay, and so this is AB, BC. Okay. So finally we will be analyzing only this one. Then analyze the primary structure with external load means we are going to analyze for fixed beam in this case, fixed beam with the given loading. So you can find out the fixed end moments. You can find out the fixed end moment. That is not a difficult thing. We have already done analysis of fixed beam. So I can find out all the fixed end moments and all. Okay, I can find out this. That is your this step you have completed. Analysis has been completed. Okay. So this step you have to understand. We have made the primary structure by making all the rotations at 0, and then you analyze the primary structure with external load. So because these all supports are fixed, we can treat the span, okay, individually. So we will be, instead of analyzing a continuous beam, we can take as 4 fixed beam and find out the fixed end moment. Okay, find out the your outcome will be find out fixed end moment. Okay, reaction also we can find out, but finally we will see, we will be using only moment value to form the equation. Okay, that is why I am writing find out the fixed end moments. Okay, find out the fixed end moments in the primary structure. Okay, and what is the next step? So that is a step number 4. So what is the next step, and let us see what is the what was the next step in the force method. So analyze the primary structure subject to external load, we have done, and the next step was analyze the primary structure subjected to only the redundant forces. Okay, there is no external load, or apply the redundant forces and you analyze it. That was the next step in the force method. So we are going to do the same thing in the displacement method also. Okay, so the next step is analyze primary structure subjected to the redundant forces. Here it is redundant degree of freedom or displacement, you can write both. So here how to do this? So we are going to, here actually in the real structure there will be some rotation theta b, there will be some rotation at C, D and E also. So here, so what you have to do is, so so here we will do apply rotations. Okay, how to do this? That is all simple. Okay, just understand the concept, and this all will be doing in slope depression method. Okay, that procedure will be very much simple. Okay, and here, so analyze the primary structure subjected to the redundant degree of freedom. So we will be apply rotations, we will apply this rotation to this primary structure, we will rotate the joints, then we have to determine. So analyze mean again, so in for displacement method, analysis mean the outcome is going to be some forces or moment. Okay, whereas in force method, analyze mean outcome was some deflection or displacement. So that is again you can compare. Okay, and apply rotations, then determine, then determine what is the force, then determine what is the force uh, that may cause, okay, that may cause this rotation. Okay, so what we are going to find out, we are going to apply the rotation in the primary structure, then we will find out what is the force. Okay, what is the force that may cause this rotation. Okay, or so we are applying some we are finding out some moments that might have caused this displacement. Okay, we are doing the reverse, we are applying some rotation to the structure, what is the force behind that rotation, that is what we have to find out in step number 5. Okay, and what was the next step? That is the that is in this step, what is the next step means what you are going to find, what you are finding out. So we will take our structure, so we have, now we are applying rotation, right? In this step we are applying rotation. So that means, and basically we are actually we are finding this one. So we are rotating, we are releasing this fixity. So that means it has become again a support, roller support. So actually we are finding, actually we are uh, finding this value. So what is the corresponding moment at this? There is some moment F1, there is some moment F2, and there is some moment F3. And what is the moment for this rotation? Okay, we are applying this theta B, theta C, theta D and theta E. Then we are finding in this step what is the determine what is the force. What is the force mean in this case moment. Okay, what is the force or moment that may cause this rotation in the structure? This joint force we are finding out F1, F2, F3, F4 we are finding in this step. Okay, how to determine these forces, that we will see later. Okay, how to determine these forces we can that we will see later. That is the step number 5. So what was the next step in the force method? So this much we have completed. In the next step we are using the compatibility equation to solve the redundant force in the structure. So we are going to do the same step in displacement method also. And the next step in the displacement method will be, so we will use compatibility equation in force method, but here we will apply or we will use the equilibrium. We are using the equilibrium condition. We are using the equilibrium condition. That means like this. So if you take this joint B, so now we got there is some fixed end moment we got in this step due to external load. So there is two fixed end moment you can say here. Let us say this is a fixed end moment at B. I am writing like this FEM BA. Okay, at this joint B, and here what was the condition? Theta B is 0. In this step we applied there is no rotation. Okay. So here we got some fixed end moment at this joint B in the span of BA, so FEM BA, and this fixed end moment is FEM BC. And if you see this joint, we have two fixed end moment I got from this fourth step. In this fifth step I got some extra moment value, which this moment caused this rotation in the at this support B. So finally here equilibrium condition means at every joint, okay, at every joint in the structure the total moment should be 0. Okay, the total moment should be equal to 0. That is your equilibrium condition in this case. So that means what is the total moment? You can say FEM BA plus FEM BC, and so the total moment is FEM BA plus FEM BC plus what is the name F1. Okay, plus F1, it is equal to 0, and this is my equilibrium condition. This is my or equilibrium equation I can say in this case. Okay, similarly you can form the equation for all the joints. So we are going to have 4 unknowns. So we will be getting one equation at this joint, another equation at C, another equation D, and another equation at joint E. Okay, so we can form all the 4 number of equilibrium equations. And what was the next step in the force method? We solve these compatibility equations to get the unknown forces. The here similarly solve this equation, solve equilibrium. Okay, solve equilibrium conditions and get all the unknowns in the structure. The unknowns may be deflection and slope. I am writing theta and delta. How to solve it? All we will see in slope deflection method. Okay, that is all simple. Okay, so the step you will just understand. And okay, now the next step is you have some equation. You have 4 equation. You have 4 unknowns, and you solve those equilibrium equations and to get the unknown displacement in the structure. And the final step. And the final step. So now I have all the unknowns in the structure. So I can use force displacement. Okay, force. I can use force displacement relations force displacement relations to get the to get all the forces, to get you can say moment and shear force. Okay, and now if you want, you can draw the bending moment diagram, shear diagram, etc. So now your analysis has been completed. This is the basic step. So we can see that we can find out each and every step. We can find out some similarities in the procedure is completely similar, but some different. Like here we are using kinematic static indeterminacy, but here we have unknowns or displacement. That is a kind of difference we can see that, but still you can you compare the method, compare the procedure, you will find that it is completely same procedure we are following. Okay, these are the you can say these are the for similarities or differences, okay, between force and displacement method. But methods are different, but it does not mean that completely different. No, basic procedure is similar. It is, you can see every step is something similar. Okay, so this is the concept. Okay, this is how we are going to develop our first method, that is the slope deflection method.